Hello everybody, this is Mike doing a video on a part that went bad in my car. I drive a 2008 Chevy Impala and I started getting some clicks in my air conditioning vent about a year ago. It only really happened for the first minute I was driving, so I kind of forgot about it, after the first minute. Really annoying, but it started getting worse lately, and actually the second one went bad. And I went and did some research, and to replace this little device here, here's the top of it, it was going to cost me $35 per piece, so that's two of them I would have had to buy. And I didn't think that was an acceptable price, so I decided that I was going to, that would have been actually about 80 bucks almost. 35 times 2, 70 plus tax, about 80 bucks. So I came home. I decided I was going to try to see if I could fix this thing. So I took this thing apart, and all it is a bunch of little tabs here. There's no screws or anything. Easiest way to do it is get a bunch of flat tip bits and shove them underneath the tabs on each side, and then use the a regular screwdriver to pry the last two open, and then just pry it open. Pops right open. And then it's very simple. You just have a standard motor here. Very easy, very standard motor. Variable voltage. And it's got a little corkscrew gear that actuates this gear here. And then this gear actually goes right here on top. Oops. Sorry. I hate when stuff like that happens during a video. I think you have it set up and then everything falls apart. But no. So then this gear right here, so basically what happens is this rotates that, which gears down to that, which gears down to that, and then that rotates the vent on the back. That goes to the vent shaft. And the problem on both of them in the exact same spot was this gear here. There's some missing teeth. And I actually, it's not exactly how it looked when I first picked it up. There was just missing teeth. I've actually been grinding on it. So I fixed the first one the same way. And what I do basically is I'm using this this Dremel tool here. Boom. And I'm using the disc. I carved a slot. See if I can get the dang thing to focus. Come on, focus, focus, focus. Alright, there it is. I've drilled it. I've cut a slot right where the thing is. And that basically fits right like that on the Dremel tool. Okay. So it goes pretty deep. And then the next step is actually to cut a wafer out of PVC. So this is the wafer I'm working on, and I'm going to finish that in a second. But basically the idea is you want a thin side to go into the slot, and you want a thick side where you can carve the teeth into, the new teeth into. And yeah, so the first time I did this, I actually didn't wind up having to glue it because it melted together. It wouldn't come back out. Wouldn't come back apart. I couldn't pull it apart. I didn't want to pull too hard, but I gave it a couple quick tugs, and I was like, you know what, this seems like it's strong enough. So I left it together, and I added some Remington oil because I feel like the grease, the packing that it had in there was probably insufficient. It's the grease it right there. Lubed it up nice. What is with the focusing on these cameras? So that's going to become the new teeth right there. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of work on this, and I'll come back and show you the progress in a moment. Alrighty, so I've done a little bit more grinding here, and actually it took me a few minutes, but it's kind of hard to do on camera when I only have two hands. But basically, I ground up a little extra space in here for the plug, the wafer, if you will, and you can see it's a little thicker in that spot. And so basically that just, golly, this focusing is killing me. So we'll just stick that right in there. Actually, I think it goes the other way. There. And it should fit relatively snug. Boom. There we go. Doesn't look too bad. Okay. A little bit more grinding and it'll fit in there nice and tight. And yeah, golly, this. Focus on it. Focus on what I want you to focus on, stupid camera. Here we go. So you can kind of see where I'm going with that. It's got to go in a little deeper before I can call it good. But I'll be right back with. I'm gonna go ahead and fit it, and then once I get it fit, I'll show you what I'm doing. Alrighty, so now I've got it fit. Basically perfect. This is before I've actually ground the teeth. I really wish I could show this in action because it's really doesn't take very long. But especially if you know what you're doing. I mean, you want to work slowly at first, but basically, okay, the white should go all the way to the bottom of the notch. That's kind of the most important part. And it goes to the bottom of the notch on both sides. Basically fit perfectly. It's like I carved that exactly for that hole. And it works. It's a little bit thinner than the total profile of the wheel, but that's okay because honestly, the teeth go all the way across, so they're going to actuate regardless of where they are. I would have liked it to have come all the way up into this groove part here, but it's not necessary. I could probably fill it in with some epoxy if I wanted to, but I'm not really seeing the need for it. We'll see how this works after I grind the teeth. I'm going to grind the teeth directly into it just like this. And if it does what the other one did, they should melt together and I won't have to glue it. But, yeah. There, I'll be right back then when that's finished. Well, I really want to show some of this on the video, so I really feel like I need to show you. So what I'm going to try to do is just, I've turned the Dremel all the way down to the lowest setting because when this goes too fast, it grinds off way too quickly and it melts the plastic a lot. Okay, so I don't want to get like an entire melted plastic thing, but I do want to kind of show you what I'm doing here. So see if I can get fancy here. Just gotta. There we go. Boom. Here comes the noise. Alrighty, that's basically how I did it. Well, I'll just do a little bit of cleanup, and it felt like it melted while I was working. It felt like it really got stuck in there because at first it was moving and then it stopped moving. So I just do a little cleanup and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so we got this set up now, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this up so that the bottom isn't touching. See if I can figure out something to put it up against. Seems like a good thing right here. Okay, so I'm going to test it. I'm going to stick a 9-volt battery right against the back here. And this should actually run on 12 volts, so we shouldn't be overloading with the 9. There we go. Let's see how it works. Boom. Yeah, it's actually working now. It's still a little rough, but that's okay. Just go ahead and squirt it with some Remington oil here. And that's just to make sure it stays lube. And I guess it's your choice what kind of oil you use. It really doesn't make that much of a difference, in my opinion. Make sure it's not going to corrode plastic. That's all. You know, don't want it to eat away the plastic. Plenty of oil in there. I'm going to go ahead and oil this side too, because it's got some rods and stuff in there. Alright, and then reinstall it in the car. And it's done. Very simple. I mean, it'd be better if I could like mold a new gear or maybe even 3D print one, but I don't have access to either of those kits. So this method of repair should work, at least for a while. I mean, worst case scenario, it breaks again and then I wind up having to pay the 35 bucks anyway, minus a little bit of my time. But you see it just snaps right together, and it's, yep. So just real quick before I end the video, I would actually stick one of these in each one of these little tabs, so I'd have a bunch of them all the way around, and it would just pop open. And there's another video that actually shows you the installation and removal of this from the car, and I'll go ahead and post that in the description. Until then, thank you for watching, and have a great day, guys.